Kia ora, good evening. Flood warnings have been activated by Environment Southland due to rapidly rising headwaters of major rivers. River levels haven't reached broadcast trigger levels but are expected to later today with more rain forecast by Met Service. Up-to-date conditions are available on Environment Southland's website www.es.govt.nz. Invercargill police have arrested a 32-year-old woman today and charged her with attempted murder in relation to injuries sustained by a 3-week-old baby at a Princess Street address in Invercargill early last week. The arrested woman appeared this afternoon at the Invercargill District Court. She was granted name suppression and remanded in custody for a psychiatric report. 11 of the 12 women standing for office in Invercargill in the forthcoming round of local government elections will be at a special candidates meeting tonight. Organised by the Southland branch of the National Women's Council, the meeting's intended to promote women candidates and inspire others to stand themselves. Hunter Andrews asked Lynn Devery why the need for tonight's meeting.
Well, we just want to have a forum there so that our women candidates can come to it in a relaxed setting, but also for the people that are coming to the meeting to feel inspired and by the women that are standing for local bodies, and perhaps might give them the example of what they need to go further, perhaps in politics, or stand themselves or something like that. But we're just hoping to kickstart these women for their election, and they start with us.
What will the format be? How will it be chaired, and does each candidate get a certain amount of time to put their case?
Yes, they do. They get 3 minutes and to put their case across for which local body that they're standing for, and then at the end of each local body's 3 minutes, we will then open it up from the floor for questions. So, yes.
So there's a lot of time for everyone to get their questions and answers across.
Oh yes, yes. Once the 3 minutes is up for each of the candidates, then we will open it up to the floor and then ask for questions.
Why do you think the need is for this meeting? I mean, we've had two women Prime Ministers, one elected, a Governor-General and an Attorney-General, and a long-serving, actually, in Invercargill Mayor down here. Do you think women need more inspiration to stand? Why aren't women standing for elected office?
I'm not really sure of that. Why don't all men stand for electoral office? I think sometimes they need to see the role model. They need to come out and actually ask questions of these women. They may find that they might think that they can do a better job. And please, if they do, please stand for local bodies yourself. But please come along and support these ladies tonight. And yes, and also perhaps think of going further in politics yourself.
Because women are, if you look at most volunteer organisations around women, they're full to overflowing with women. So obviously willing to participate at that level, but not so to take that next step.
Well, it can be quite a scary step to take. You're putting yourself out there, and people are going to say yes, whether they want to vote for you or not. 9 times out of 10, they'll look at you because of your hairstyle, how pretty you are, and all those are old ways of judging women. So we need to know that they're capable women out there, whether they're got the latest hairstyle, the latest clothing or what have you. Those are all things that are just superficial. We need to look at the person and the person's values and why that person is running for office.
And that meeting's at the Salvation Army Centre on Tay Street and gets underway at 7:30. Entry is by gold coin donation. Trust and confidence in our police force is up, a citizen satisfaction survey has revealed. The independent survey of close to 10,000 people asked for views on police, feelings of safety and what were people's perception of police if they'd had a recent encounter. Those surveyed said their perceptions of police had increased 2% on last year, up to 80%. Overall satisfaction with the police force stands at 83%. Farmers may be re-evaluating the need to dock lambs at all or as much following the release of early results from a trial being conducted by the Alliance Group. Findings from the study indicate that leaving a lamb's tail longer or intact has no long-term beneficial or detrimental effect on a lamb's growth rate. Docking is thought to help reduce dag formation and reduce the risk of fly strike. Early results suggest tail length has no effect on growing time or on productive traits such as carcass weight. However, dag accumulation with longer and intact tails increase the need to crutch. Southland farmers are included in the ongoing 3-year trial, which concludes in 2015. Stay with us. Coming up after the break, we find out why Riverton schools are on high alert. Welcome back. Riverton was on high alert today as students of all ages prepared to evacuate in a mock earthquake and tsunami drill. Senior students at Aparima College took the lead role when the alarm sounded at 10 a.m, quickly donning fluorescent vests before walking to collect pupils at Riverton Primary, the kindergarten and daycare. Students formed a walking bus in less than ideal conditions to ensure everyone was moved safely and were encouraged to act first rather than waiting on official advice. The evacuation drill is a timely demonstration of community emergency planning and the lead up to Get Ready, Get Through week.
Well, they would have been reacting to a major earthquake that would have occurred, so they're not waiting for official notification to leave. As soon as they feel the earthquake that knocks them off their feet, or if it lasts longer than 30 seconds. So they're actually reacting to that.
So they are prepared to do the earthquake protection in the school, in the classroom, and then this alarm goes off which takes them to the assembly point.
That's correct, yes. And after that, then they evacuate the high school, send students on to the other schools, the daycare and the kindergarten, to actually help with their evacuation.
So the assembly point today?
Is actually, is up at the Longwoods rest home. It's on their front lawn, so they are probably waiting for us to get up there.
So you have a bit of height because the earthquake scenario is triggering a tsunami.
That's correct, yes.
How many children involved today?
Probably estimating around the 200. I can't be actually sure on that. It depends how many children left in this really bad weather and how many stayed behind.
And what sort of planning's been ongoing with this to get prepared for today?
The schools themselves have their own plan and they have practiced. They've certainly practiced the earthquake drill. The high school itself told the children yesterday that they were doing this, and they have their own students. You see the students with the vests on, they are the monitors there to help and assist in getting the children out. So they were well practiced.
Are you timing it today? Is time important?
Not today, we're not timing it, but apparently they made it last year, about 2 years ago, in about 14 minutes.
What are the chances of a tsunami actually hitting Riverton and having an effect where people have to evacuate?
It's always going to be a risk, and it's one that we cannot afford to take. So it is fantastic to see that the community themselves are taking that preparation into account.
An awards ceremony was held last night at the Civic Theatre to recognise voluntary groups and organisations as well as students who reflect community spirit. This year there were 51 entries in the Trustpower Invercargill Southland Community Awards that recognise community involvement. The winner of this year's Youth Award is Lydia Ward from Southland Girls High School for her services to sports coaching and mentoring as well as academic and cultural achievement. Cycling Southland took out the Supreme Award, winning a $1,500 prize. Also placed first in respective categories the Bluff Hill Environment Trust, Bluff Coast Guard and the Southern District Arts Trust. In sport and leisure, top honours went to the Ryle Bush Community Centre Committee and the Riverton Rugby Club. It's been a busy year for Habitat for Humanity in Invercargill, with the organisation housing a family in August and another expected to be held soon. Since 1996, Habitat has helped 18 families into a home of their own, and there's more to come. Hunter Andrews spoke to Susan Flintoff earlier today.
Habitat has been really busy these last few months, actually. It's been quite exciting. The recent family was put into a house, we dedicated it in August. It's a house that they had built themselves, mum and dad and 3 kids, so they're really pleased to be in there. Also, in the last few months, 2 families who had got houses through Habitat earlier have finally purchased Habitat out, paid us out completely, homeowners, and the relationship with Habitat's finished. So yeah, for all that to happen in the last few months, it's pretty exciting.
A very satisfactory result overall. And how many families does that make that you've helped into houses?
We've helped 17 families in Invercargill, which includes 52 children. And our 18th family are shortly going to be moving into their house as well.
Do you see the demand for housing declining?
It's difficult to find people who want to partner with Habitat in Invercargill. We're looking for more families though, and we're always keen to find new people who we can help.
How do people just come to you if they need that help?
Yep, they can ring the office here and we'll send them out some forms, tell them a bit about what's involved, and then they can come along to a preparation for partnership meeting. I think we're holding another one of those later this year.
What's the process when Habitat purchases a property, find a property to purchase? Where do the funds come from?
They come from the restore here we're standing. People of Invercargill donate the goods and other generous people purchase the goods. It's a great cycle and we then use all that money for building in Invercargill.
And obviously quite profitable. There's a few people here even today and in this terrible weather, people are using the store.
Yeah, they are. There's always people here and every time I come in I think I go home with a bargain.
So what is in store for Habitat for the rest of the year?
We've just recently purchased a house to put the next when we've got the family. They'll be moving in shortly. There's a few renovations that need to be done. It's actually an exciting story because it's a house that Habitat built 10 years ago for a different family. They purchased the house from us, they went through the whole process and they now put it on the open market and we've bought it again and we're going to help a second family in the one house.
And so that original family's moving onward and upward?
Yep, they've got jobs overseas and they're moving away, so it's a fabulous story. Good recycling.
And that's it from News this Tuesday. Sport is along next from the news team. Good night.